The Los Angeles Lakers got their guy. The cornerstone of the NBA, Luka Doncic, is in Los Angeles to stay. Was announced today, Saturday, August 2nd. Luka Doncic has signed his 3-year extension with the Los Angeles Lakers, and this changes everything about the NBA. Welcome into Heart of Hoops, Ryan Breeden and Jayson Andrews, to break down an expected contract extension, but a seismic one nonetheless, Chase.
Yeah, an expected one for sure, but the years were the question mark, and if you won't, I will. Ryan got it right. Everybody on the internet was saying 4 years, and it's a 3-year contract, and I mean we'll talk about it in the show, but it's very clear what Luka's path is the rest of his NBA career.
I appreciate the props. My ego needs to continue to get larger and larger. Pretty soon,
Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't think we need that getting any more large, actually.
I need all the confidence. I'm like the Galactus of just predictions. I don't know. I need it. It feeds my ego.
Speaking of Galactus, go see Fantastic Four. No free ads.
Yeah,
but yeah, Luka getting a 3-year, $165 million maximum contract extension. He was eligible for the 4-year, as we mentioned in a previous video. However, he has a player option in this one in 2028, and at the end of this, he'll be in line for a supermax contract. A couple of funny details that we'll talk about later, but I just want to throw it out there. Obviously, this kind of sets the future for the Lakers up pretty well and kind of maybe puts a question mark on LeBron James and whether they are going to move him now because they have their guy. Not that they didn't, but now they have him long term. And then also just kind of the hilariousness for the or not for Mavericks fans, but against the Mavericks fans, because Nico Harrison found a way to pay Anthony Davis $29 million more over the next 3 years than Luka Doncic. So I'll just put that there.
Yeah, there's a try not to be the best GM in Dallas challenge.
Oh God, yeah, don't get me started on that.
Between Nico Harrison and Jerry Jones. You can be I'll be the worst GM. No,
I mean, at least Jerry Jones is like old and decrepit, whereas like Nico Harrison is like he's young. For a GM, he's young. And for relatively until Luka Doncic, I will give him credit. He had some very smart moves and then just wasted it all away on one thing. I was like, okay, buddy, let's not do that.
They both are just trying their hardest to be the worst GM in sports, and they're in the same city. So I feel for all you in Dallas that are watching this video right now. But with this 3-year deal, Jace, the biggest thing that sticks out to me, and I said this in that video that you mentioned that we made earlier last week, people are saying that he's taking a team-friendly deal here. He's taking a discount. He's taking a pay cut because he's leaving $60-some million on the table. He's not taking a pay cut, people. What he's doing is positioning himself to make even more money as soon as possible. So it's going to be less money per year right now. But let me tell you something. If he plays these 2 guaranteed years on this contract, waits until 2028, 29, that offseason, he could sign a 5-year deal worth up to almost $80 million a season. He would be the highest paid player in NBA history per year. He would have the highest paying contract in NBA history. That is what Luka Doncic is setting himself up for. And what it's also setting the Lakers up for, you have a top 3 or top 4 player in the NBA. I would say top 3. That might be controversial, maybe not. You have a top 3 player in the NBA secured on your franchise for the entirety of his prime.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about prime. I just, was making sure. He's 26 years old and won't be 27 until this upcoming February. So by the time that Supermax time comes around, he's going to be the ripe age of 28 years old and making the most money ever in NBA history per year. So it's the smart move for Luka in terms of making sure he is secure because, as you said, the Lakers are making the smart move by getting a player in his prime. But Luka knows that, okay, I'm going to get that Supermax, and then odds are, the way the NBA has gone, he can get another Supermax after that before he, depending on what his capabilities are, then he could be entering the Kevin Durant, LeBron James conversation of, okay, after that, is he taking 1-year deals, stuff like that. There's a lot of questions with it, but I do kind of want to put out there that Luka has always been good to the places he has played for, both in when he was playing in his home country, and then now to the Mavericks, and now to the Lakers. And he even just tweeted out today saying, I just signed my extension with the Lakers. Excited to keep working to bring championships to LA and make Laker Nation proud. Grateful to the Lakers, my teammates, and all the fans who have shown me love since day one. Even Mavericks fans know, nobody can hate Luka Doncic. He's looking skinnier than ever. He's looking even better than maybe he was last year in this upcoming year. And I'm not going to say that being a Laker is going to make him a better player, but I will say that the motivational factor of being moved from a team you thought you were going to spend your entire career with to a different team because defense wins championships, it does put you in a little more of a, I'm going to show him.
Yeah, and Nico, he defense wins championships. The best defense that's on that court is Anthony Davis's body against himself. That man's been fighting the hospital pass allegations for years now, and that's just going to continue as he gets older. Kyrie Irving, same thing goes there. But I I don't think that enough can be said about Rob Pelinka and the Lakers and what they pulled off here. You trade for, in the most unexpected fashion, a cornerstone of the league. You lock him down long term, and no matter what happens with LeBron, we all know that LeBron, he's not going to retire Laker. That's not going to happen. He will be playing somewhere else, whether it be at the end of next year, sometime during next year, whatever it might be. He's going to go somewhere else. We've talked about that already. But with Luka Doncic being on your roster now for these 3 upcoming years, plus 2 years into that, they can extend it for another 5. The Lakers will be NBA title contenders for nearly the next decade. And there will be players that'll want to play with Luka Doncic. That will be an attractive destination. There will still be other money to spend. The salary cap will continue to rise. Look at what the Oklahoma City Thunder just did. You signed 3 guys to max contracts, and you're still not in the second apron. The Lakers can do something similar to that. And that team could be aggressive enough. It wouldn't be ideal, but that team might even be willing to be in the second apron for one season. If you feel like, hey, this is going to be worth it for us because we really think that we're going to win a championship this year, maybe the Lakers ownership group says, fine, we'll pay the insane luxury tax for this one season. It wouldn't be ideal, but either way, the Lakers are going to be here to stay on the forefront of the NBA for a long time.
Well, and you mentioned the second apron. There's also a new CBA coming out, and I believe 2027, 2028
That's
area.
right.
So, I mean, that second apron could be either pushed back a lot or potentially wiped from existence. There's talks of a bunch of things happen. I think the first apron will probably stay somewhere about the same, but I don't know if the second apron will be pushed back or non-existent. That's a long way away, but either way, it's going to allow for the potential to get Luka his money at that time, and like you mentioned, going to be an attractive destination. And you kind of look, you mentioned going into that first apron. It's kind of like what the Celtics did the past couple of years, where they fought for that second apron, that first apron, were paying luxury taxes because they knew they had the team to win, and they tried their best. And I'm not going to say that the Achilles injury for Jayson Tatum was the reason they lost this year, but they were going for a two-peat, a back-to-back for the first time since the Warriors, and it didn't work out. So kind of like what you said, they're willing to go out there and maybe pay that second apron for a year or two if they're able to win the NBA championship, and then they can reset after that. But they know that Luka will stay there for a bit. And the question that I pose to you: will Luka Doncic remain a Laker for the rest of his NBA career?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I mean, things change so fast in the NBA, right? I'll tell you one thing. He will be a Laker for the rest of his prime. He might leave and go somewhere else when he's in his
Kind of like Katie in the
30s.
back half, like where
Right.
Katie is
When
now.
he's in his 30s, he might leave to go somewhere else. But by that point, he will have already done most of his work as a Laker, right? They're going to try to win championships there. So this is a move that is friendly for both sides. Luka's going to try to get his money, and it's not necessarily a team-friendly deal. It's, hey, I'm going to wait 2 more years, let myself sign this contract that I would have been eligible for if the Mavericks had kept me, because I would have been able to be under the bird rights, and I'm going to have to wait then instead till I reach my 10 years of service time before I'm able to get this. So let's set it for this time, 3 years from now, when I'm in my 10th season and I can sign that 5-year supermax worth almost $80 million a year.
Yeah. It's a win-win situation for both sides. The Lakers are getting a guy for cheaper money than what would have happened in some ways, but Luka also knows he's going to get his money eventually, and so for the next couple of years, if they can find a center, they could compete, even though the Western Conference is full. But yeah, locked him down. Then one more thing I do want to mention, because we kind of passed, but the Mikal Bridges contract, 4 years, $150 million. Knicks locked down a guy they traded for recently, so 2 guys getting their money that they're worth, and kind of final thoughts here, but Luka, like I said, he kind of got screwed out of some money, but he might win in the end of things.
Yeah, you mentioned Bridges. It might have been a bit of an overpay, but the Knicks aren't in the second apron. They're trying to stay competitive in the East, and they see that as their conference to lose, right? The Knicks would probably be considered the favorites, the front runners to win the East this coming season, especially with the Celtics kind of dipping down and things changing over there as much as they have. So we'll kind of see what things look like for the Knicks, but they're staying aggressive this offseason, and clearly the Lakers are too. So yeah, we have some more contract extensions that could happen. De'Aaron Fox, I think, would be the third, and there's a few more, but otherwise, this is the biggest move that we've been waiting to be eligible for this offseason.
Yep. So make sure you subscribe. We're going to have much content coming out with shorts and a bunch of different stuff for the next couple weeks. And then, of course, with the NBA, we're going to have a schedule release here in like literally like 2 weeks from now. So we'll have a bunch coming out. But again, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time here on Heart of Hoops. Peace out, guys.